peoples.
And what do you face particularly in North Dakota? Can you talk about the issue of, for example, fracking?
Right. I mean, prior to fracking, we had 7 coal-fired power plants, so we were all dealing with mercury contamination and cancers from that, and then enter fracking around 2007, and what we're dealing with is a death by 1,000 cuts. We have people that are literally on the front lines being killed by all of the semi-traffic, by the increase in violence against women. Ever since we've had the oil industry enter, we've had these jobs that were created, but there were 11,000 jobs created and over 10,000 people that came into our state. And we've had violence against women increased by 168%, particularly in the area of rape. We have 14, 15, and 16-year-old girls that are willingly going into man camps and selling themselves.
Man camps?
We call them that because they're literally thousands of men living in these hovels. They're like FEMA trailers or RV parks or wherever they can find space that used to be a wheat field or a sunflower field is now an oil fracking operation. And so we've seen an increase greatly of crime and violence, drug abuse. I've buried two young girls, my friends, this last year who got addicted to the heroin because we now have organized crime. As far as the environmental toxins, we won't even feel the effects for 20 years, and I'm so worried that at this COP21, my 2.5-year-old daughter won't have a say, but she will be experiencing the worst impacts. And it just doesn't make any sense to me that this is the 21st COP, and we are considered sacrifice zones in my community.
Kandi, you yourself are a cancer survivor?
Yes. When I was going to school, when I was in college, I was diagnosed with a stage 4 sarcoma tumor, which I shouldn't even be here today. When they diagnosed me, I had to wait for nearly a month so they could figure out what it was. And when they did, they said I was lucky that it wasn't attached to my muscle or my bone. And so I went through 5 surgeries. I have a huge scar as a result of that, and I always have to be worried that it could come back. But I'm here, and I do have friends that aren't here, that didn't survive their cancers, that are fighting cancer right now. And it's obvious to me that it's inextricably linked between health, climate, and environment, and we're dealing with it on the front lines.
Kandi, I want to ask you, there is a large indigenous civil society presence here.
There is.
What kind of hope does that give you? What has the kind of organizing you've been doing here over the last 2 weeks mean, and who have you been organizing with?
I've been spending a lot of my time on the outside. As the Indigenous Environmental Network, we have to have an inside-outside strategy. We feel like we have to be in here because there's a quote that goes around, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And we've sort of felt like we need to be at the table, although we're starting to get to the point where we want to denounce the entire COP process and not even validate it by participating. Because every year for 21 years, people have said, it's going to be a great agreement, we're really excited for it, and then at the end, everybody feels this way, frustrated with the final text. And so what we've been doing is organizing nonviolent direct actions. We've been going out into the streets of Paris. We've been meeting with our Parisian brothers and sisters of the global North and South have been coming together to stand in solidarity with people from around the world to say, we don't care what's in your text and written in black and white on paper. We're going to take back the power in our communities by educating people outside with the reality of life, Mother Nature. We're going to be outside feeling the sun on our face and the wind on our cheeks. That is where it matters, not in this sterile place where there's boxes that were built, where people were displaced here to make this COP21 happen. We're going to be outside reconnecting with our Mother Earth, because when we care for her, she cares for us.
Hi, I'm Amy Goodman. I want to thank you for tuning in to Democracy Now! We are so grateful to our fans and followers for being a part of the daily conversation. By choosing a news source that's committed to the truth, you're carrying the message of independent media, reaching hundreds of thousands of people every day. In these times of war and elections, we need a media not sponsored by corporations that profit from war, but a media that's truly independent, funded by you. Democracy Now! Is not paid for by the weapons manufacturers, the insurance industry, or the oil, gas, coal, or nuclear companies. We don't take advertising or corporate underwriting dollars. That means we rely on your donations to make our daily independent news hour possible. We need your support today to keep bringing you the hard-hitting, in-depth reporting you've come to expect 5 days a week. Visit democracynow.org, or you can call 888-999-3877. That's 888-999-3877 to make your holiday gift to Democracy Now! Today. Thanks so much for sharing Democracy Now! Stories all year long.